Let me just come out and say this. Kevin Stefanski is in serious trouble right now. You can see it in his body language, you can hear it in his voice. This man knows his job is on the line. And the crazy part? Instead of showing confidence, instead of standing tall and backing his guy, he sounded like someone just trying to survive the press conference. He gave that typical coach speak, "I don't concern myself with the outside noise. I'm committed to development. We're just trying to get our rookies better. But let's be real, you didn't give Shedeur Sanders a fighting chance. You sent this kid into a gunfight with 2 butter knives. And we all know how that ends. And then what do? You pull him out before the most important moment of the game, that final 2-minute drive. Instead of letting Shedeur step up and show us what he could do under pressure, you toss in Tyler Huntley. For what? For a meaningless 2-minute drill that isn't going to matter because Huntley's not even going to be on this roster when week 1 rolls around. Why not give those reps to the kid who's supposed to be the future? Why not give Shedeur that moment? And that's where the frustration really explodes. Because right after the game, the same offensive line that was out there with Shedeur, most of them got cut, waived, contracts terminated. Think about that for a second. He was out there throwing behind a line of guys who weren't even NFL caliber. You put him in that situation, then you yank him out before the big moment, and then you try to spin it like it was all part of some development plan? Come on. The backlash was immediate, and Stefanski felt it. You could see it when reporters pressed him. Why didn't you let Shedeur run the 2-minute? Why pull him right there? And his answer? Nothing but stammering. He said he wanted to give Huntley some work. Huntley, a quarterback who was brought in off the street as an emergency signing, a guy with no future on this team, and yet he gets the moment, not Shedeur Sanders. That's when people started calling this what it looks like, sabotage. Even former players like TJ Hushmanzadeh are speaking out, saying flat out, he's never seen a coach so blatantly not want a player to succeed. He said the bias is obvious, that Stefanski looks like a man coaching scared, coaching with an agenda. And you know what? He's right. Because think back to Shedeur's very first preseason game. The kid was flawless. He lit it up. And what did Stefanski say afterward? Nothing. No praise, no excitement, just some vague, "We'll see, we're committed to all our guys" nonsense. It's almost like he was disgusted Shedeur played well, and then yesterday? Same thing. Instead of backing his rookie, Stefanski made it look like Shedeur was the problem. It feels like he's been trying to set this kid up to fail from the very beginning. And that's not just me talking. Analysts everywhere are saying the same thing. Skip Bayless said it perfectly. This is the absolute worst way to handle a young quarterback. You don't protect him, you don't give him support, you put him out there with guys who can't even block, then you pull him before the defining moment. That's how you ruin confidence. That's how you destroy development. And fans aren't blind. You can hear it in the stadium, you can see it online. The chants are coming, Shedeur is our quarterback. Shedeur should start week 1. They know what's going on and they're calling Stefanski out for it. Look, I'm just going to be straight with you guys. I'm outraged. I'm sick to my stomach watching this unfold. Because this isn't just about one preseason drive. This is about a pattern. A pattern of a coach refusing to acknowledge talent because it doesn't fit his vision. A pattern of setting a player up to fail so he can justify his own stubbornness. And here's the ironic part. Stefanski wanted Shedeur to look bad so he could keep control. But now, he's the one in danger. The pressure is flipping. The fans are demanding answers. The media is circling. And if this continues, the Browns are going to have no choice but to make a move. Because here's the truth. Shedeur Sanders was never given a fair shot in Cleveland. He worked harder than anyone, showed up early, stayed late, proved he wanted it. And instead of being rewarded, he was thrown into the fire without a chance to succeed. That's not development. That's sabotage. So now the question is simple. Will the Browns finally hold Stefanski accountable? Or will Shedeur Sanders become just another victim of a broken system that refuses to let real talent rise? I want to know what you guys think. Was Stefanski's handling of this about poor judgment, or was it personal? Do you believe Shedeur was set up to fail? And most importantly, do you think Kevin Stefanski deserves to keep his job after this? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this story is just getting started. I've been telling you guys this for weeks now. Shedeur Sanders is not some throwaway project. He's not just a body in the quarterback room, and what we saw the last time he stepped onto that field, that wasn't an accident. That wasn't a lucky night. That was a warning shot to the entire NFL. This kid is going to light it up. He's going to smoke defenses, and I'll say it again, he's going to kill it. And here's the part that nobody in the mainstream media wants to admit in Cleveland. No matter who the starter is, no matter who trots out there under center, that man is going to get booed until Shedeur Sanders is the one taking those snaps. That's the reality. Unless Joe Flacco somehow rolls back the clock 10 years and carries this team on his shoulders, the fan base isn't going to be satisfied. And deep down, Kevin Stefanski knows it too. You see, Stefanski thought he had it all figured out. The plan was simple. Flacco starts, Kenny Pickett sits as the backup. And the rookies? Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel? They'd just marinate on the sidelines, learn the system, develop slowly. Easy, right? Wrong. Because what happened next completely blindsided him. The front office, ownership, made a call that flipped the entire quarterback picture upside down. Think about this. The NFL world had already written Shedeur off as a fifth-rounder. A project. A guy who'd hold a clipboard for a year or two and maybe see the field in mop-up duty. But while the league was sleeping on him, something was brewing inside Berea. Something that Stefanski himself didn't even see coming. And then Ryan Wilson drops a line on air saying, "I wouldn't be surprised if by late December or early January all four of these guys have played." Well, guess what? That timeline is already being fast-tracked because whispers have turned into conversations. Conversations are turning into roars. And I'm telling you, everything we thought we knew about Cleveland's quarterback room is about to change. Now let me back up, because I want you to feel the weight of this story. This isn't just about preseason depth charts. This isn't just about who gets QB2 or QB3 reps. This goes all the way back to draft night. Shedeur Sanders, projected by some as a first-round talent, slides all the way to pick 144. Fifth round. You don't just fall that far by chance. Somebody wanted it that way. Somebody played chess on draft night. And here's the kicker. Cleveland had already taken Dillon Gabriel in the third round. So why go back to the well in the fifth? Why double dip at quarterback? Unless, and follow me here, unless they knew something the rest of the league didn't. Unless they had a plan. And when you look at GM Andrew Berry, you realize this guy doesn't play checkers. This is the same man who orchestrated the Deshaun Watson trade. Say what you want about that move, but one thing's certain, Berry doesn't play it safe. He plays for keeps. When he told reporters he was fine carrying 4 quarterbacks, he wasn't talking about roster depth. He was talking about a strategy. And on that board, Shedeur Sanders wasn't a pawn. He was the queen. Now I hear you, but they just named Joe Flacco the starter. Yeah, on paper. But let's be real. When's the last time a 40-year-old quarterback carried a team for 17 games? When's the last time Stefanski, a coach who thrives on creativity, was truly satisfied with a conservative game manager? Never. And it's not going to start now. Here's what really happened inside that building. After Sanders' preseason debut, 2 touchdowns, 138 yards, throwing to guys who won't even make the roster, there was a meeting. Not a routine. Coach's film session. Not a normal debrief. I'm talking about the meeting. Stefanski walked in ready to talk development timelines. He walked out knowing ownership just saw something he couldn't ignore, their future franchise quarterback. And it wasn't just the stats. It wasn't just arm talent. They knew about that from Colorado. What stunned Stefanski was watching Sanders run a huddle like he'd been doing it for a decade. What shocked him was the poise, the way Sanders adjusted at the line of scrimmage, the way he made third-string receivers look like seasoned pros. That's what had veterans in the building whispering, "This kid's different." Ownership saw it too. And ownership doesn't care about patience or long-term projects. They've seen mediocrity. They've lived through decades of quarterback disasters. When they see a guy who looks ready, who carries himself like a winner, they don't wait. And here's where the pressure starts to build. Because if you know this league, you know how quickly things change. Week 1, Flacco starts. Fine. Week 2, 3, 4, the schedule gets brutal. The AFC North doesn't forgive mistakes. And when those moments come, when Cleveland needs a spark, when the fan base is demanding a change, are you really telling me they'll keep Sanders on the sideline? No chance. Because here's the truth. This isn't about development. This is about opportunity. Baltimore has Lamar. Cincinnati has Burrow. Pittsburgh's a mess, but at least they've got something to believe in. And Cleveland? They were supposed to have Deshaun Watson. That plan has already crumbled. But maybe, just maybe, they stumbled onto something bigger. The critics? They'll bring up Shedeur's bad reps, his pocket presence, the mistakes. They'll talk about time to develop. You know who else they said that about? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. And what happened? They got thrown into the fire and they figured it out. Because that's what great players do. They rise to the moment, and that's what Shedeur Sanders has done his entire career. From Colorado to preseason to every room he's ever walked into. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't hide, he commands. So here's the real question, the only question that matters. Do the Browns have the courage to see what's right in front of them? Do they have the guts to hand the keys over before it's too late? Because the longer they wait, the louder that stadium is going to get. And the longer they wait, the more inevitable it becomes. I'm telling you right now, Shedeur Sanders is not some fifth-round project. He is the future. And in this league, futures don't stay hidden for long. So let me ask you, are you ready for the Shedeur Sanders era to start ahead of schedule? Or do you think Cleveland should stick with the safe play, ride it out with Joe Flacco, and risk watching another season slip away? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're as locked in on this storyline as I am, hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.